Hello, welcome to Perspective. This is our first episode, and this is you might be thinking that why another podcast? What are they trying to do? Why am I here? Why am I listening to this? So, here we are two individuals who are just like you, who are caught up in their everyday life. But there are moments in all our lives where we wonder what exactly is happening, why are we doing things, where are we headed, what is the meaning of life, and blah blah blah. And this really a lot of books written, a lot of people have said a lot of things about this, but sometimes it just feels because things are very simple, but sometimes I've explained very in a very complicated way. So what we are trying to do here is we are just going to read some books to discuss the concepts that are being discussed in those books and try to break it down and make sense of what we are reading and uh, see how can we apply it in our daily lives, how can we make use of it. That's it. That's all it is about. And we are just placing a mic while we are doing this so that listeners like you can also try to understand such like questions like these that come to us. So yeah, hope you like it. So uh, so tell me your thoughts about religion.
I mean, see, uh, in my opinion, I think I like to invest things which are of practical value. Okay. And second point is that, see, you can, I think, I think a lot of the generations that we have seen growing up, they follow rituals for out of fear.
Correct.
One major thing I think cannot be ignored is the aspect of fear. So a lot of people I have seen who are religious are fear driven. But the point I would like to make with respect to the practical value of things, two things. I think I like to believe I am somebody who reasons things out. I like to be satisfied intellectually also कि हाँ what I'm doing is making sense, as well as I want to see it have value in my everyday life. And by value, I mean in this context, I want to be peaceful. I want to experience peace. I, I want to suffer less on a daily basis. So that's my point of view, and like that's what brings me to all this religious and spirituality and everything like that, because I want to have practical value in my day to day life.
Asking why?
Is a sin in a lot of things
Huh,
in
you
religious,
cannot just
because it's
ask
based on faith,
why.
as we read recently. I mean, it's based on faith. All the faith is something that you have to believe in 100%. You cannot question it. People get offended if you question it.
करेक्ट. डिवोशन में मैं फास्ट करूँ तो उससे क्या हो गया, मतलब वो कैसे मेरा डिवोशन एक्सप्रेस हो रहा है उसमें. सिर्फ मैं अपना खाना मैंने और नवरात्र में क्या होता है कि आई एम ईटिंग, आई एम जस्ट changing what I'm eating. It's not purely fasting, right? So then eventually when I started growing up, I was like, okay, this is all just, we are just doing it for the sake of doing it. There's no meaning, and that's where I started just like giving up on the rituals also. And the like purpose of religion, I think, is to make ourselves better. So somehow the rituals were not directly translating into that. And that's why I lost my faith in rituals. And because in religion, ritual is the way um, to go to God or to pray or to believe in God. So then when you start removing the rituals from your life, then you are like, exactly, then that is where you reach to that confused state.
And just backing things up, why do you think that God is such an God as a concept, or I mean, why is it such a big deal? Like in our lives, why is it such a big deal? How has your experience been in this term? That why did you care about like this concept in the first place? How was your journey then?
So since the childhood, everybody first of all was praying to God.
Hmm.
Now, either it was out of respect that ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि भगवान हमारे परम पिता है, लाइक फादर ऑफ फादर, ठीक है. So that shows respect, that you are praying to God out of respect. um, I've never I've never felt that fear. It was never fear driven for me. It was more of respect driven. And of course, like a elder person to whom I would go when I want things, because the elder person has that power to give things. That is the concept that has been established, that he controls our lives. He has given us this life. So we should be grateful to him for whatever he has given us, and be respectful to him. And you can even ask him things, and he might give you that. So I think these are the 2-3 concepts around which God as a figure has been established. Fear also is there, but I think it was never like a major influence. But these are the things that.
For me, it has been like a particularly interesting story which overlaps a bit with you in the sense, yeah, I mean, starting तो वहीं से हुई कि सब लोग कर रहे हैं तो रिस्पेक्टफुल चीज़ है तो हम भी कर रहे हैं, हमको भी लेके जाया जा रहा है मंदिर मस्जिद वॉटेवर. फिर हाँ, कुछ भी चाहिए होता है, क्या बोलते हैं, मार्क्स चाहिए होते थे या फिर इसके बाजू में बैठना है स्कूल में, उसके बाजू में बैठना है, तो हम प्रे कर रहे हैं कि यार ये हो जाए, ये कर दो, ये करवा दो, तो ये भी ऊपर वाले से ही प्रे कर रहे हैं. So this was the thing that also overlapped with me, but then major reckoning, I think वो जो एक मैं अगर एक चीज पॉइंट आउट करूँ जिससे हिला दिया मुझे, ठीक है. So everything was going good for a lot many years of my life. Everything was going good. Everything was going smooth. All my prayers were answered. All my marks were beautiful in school. But एक टाइम पे मेरे लाइफ में मुझे एक बहुत बड़ा धक्का लगा. In the sense, there was something that I really, really, dearly wanted. You know, I did everything right, and stars were aligned. ऐसा मुझे feel हुआ कि everything was meant to be, and I was doing things for such a noble cause and with such a pure heart. That was my intentions. But then that, I mean, वो इवेंट एकदम ही अलग हो गया और मुझे बहुत ही दुख हुआ उस टाइम पे. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट I have never been honestly like the God as a concept was never a big deal to me. It was just there. It was just existing. I never took it very personally. But then after a point of time, again because of this thing, because of things didn't turning out the way I wanted, and um, suffering. Yeah, I think suffering is the word. Suffering is the word because you know, being raised in a good house and having good intentions and everything. Um, but when I sort of used to experience desires, like as human beings, you don't really realize it, but eventually what you're doing is chasing one desire after another, right? And each desire I was chasing, I, in that journey, I used to lose a lot of things. A lot of pain used to come to me, but the desires never stopped. I couldn't, I always assumed that there will be a point in my life in the future. After that point, everything's going to be awesome, everything's going to be peaceful, you know. But that just didn't happen. So that has been like sort of my journey. थोड़ा इसमें sort of shady paths हैं और season of doubts and everything. But that has been my journey. I've always been sort of curious about that, and in order to elevate my suffering, basically, I was looking for that. How does my suffering end? How do I attain happiness and peaceful?
Deep. So then, what did you do next? Like when you were at this stage of your life where you wanted to find a way to end your sufferings, to be peaceful.
Hmm.
What was the next step? What did you do?
Primarily, I used to read and I used to talk with people have, who I can talk with at this level. Because in India, mostly your friends and everybody is like, they'll make fun of you. This topic, this spirituality and, God and everything. If you're talking about this, it does require a certain sense of vulnerability. You will have to be vulnerable. And India, unfortunately, has become such a place. I've been living here for 30 years now. I have found only a handful of people who can actually have an honest conversation about this. And I think what we are doing with perspective is something on those lines. We're trying to have an honest conversation out here. So yeah, to answer your question, these are two things I did. I have read, I mean, quite a few philosophers. I have read Osho, Jitta Krishnamurti, Swami Vivekananda, Buddha, um, and other few Hinduism related texts. And I talk to people. And I think, the final thing I missed is, see, everything that we're talking about, you can blabber the whole day. But at the end of the day, if you don't experience it, it's experiential stuff. If you don't experience it, it does not matter. So that's the third point. I mean, once I started meditating and once I actually started observing, then the truths reveal themselves.
Yeah, I've read recently. I've been reading a book which is on Buddha's journey, and your journey seems similar to that, because in that book, so how did so as we all know, Buddha was a prince, right? So how did he start on his um, path of awakening, right? So one day, so most of the times he used to be, very coddled up in his
Palace.
palace, and everything was there,
Yeah.
right?
I've read he had all sorts of luxuries.
Yes, he had all sorts of luxury. He had a good family, a kid also, I think, along with a wife, and everybody was there. He was very happy in general. But then one day he went out and he saw uh, a sick man, uh, an old man, and a dead man.
Dying man or dead man?
Dead man.
Dead.
Dead man. And a person who was meditating.
Really?
Huh.
Fourth.
Fourth. So
मुझे
the
चार
fourth
थे.
one, I read it in that book only. So then, so when he saw these three people, that kind of shifted something inside him. So I think it was not his personal suffering, because really he was not.
Yeah, his dad made sure he never suffered in any way.
Yeah. So when he saw this, that eventually you will you will become old, you will attract a disease, and you will suffer, and you will eventually die. So then what is the meaning of everything? Like, why am I here?
That is a very good question because today's generation, if I see around me, the people around me, I think we have made life all about pleasure.
Yes, and that causes suffering,
Maybe, I don't
because
know.
we always run behind some kind of pleasure. Like, for example, I want to make money so that I can get a good house, a good couch, a good car, a good comfortable uh, you know environment for me. So basically everybody is running for that. They have certain desires. Maybe they want to go travel international. They want to have all sorts of luxuries, and that is what is making them run throughout the life that they've got. And as part of that, we keep suffering. Like, for example, I would want a promotion. I will do everything for that throughout the year, but for whatever reasons I don't get that promotion, then it would kind of give me pain.
Or even if you get the promotion, you might not be promoted to that level if you want to,
Yeah.
or you might not experience that kind of increase in salary, whatever.
Yes. So eventually, that will cause me disappointment. That will cause me uh, different sort forms of pain, right? So this is what keeps happening. Now, this can be in terms of health. This can be in terms of relationships, family. We want something, but it does not happen every time that we get that, and that causes suffering. So it's always pleasure, desire, and then disappointment, suffering. And that keeps on repeating itself throughout this life.
Yeah, at one point of time, I mean, for me, it was just like, one point of time, you just come to a place and like, what is happening? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is going on? So, yeah.
Yeah, because since since our childhood, we are trained. So when we were in school, right? So this was told to us that if you study properly and do good in exams, you'll get good marks. So it's like, I'll give some input, I'll get one expected output.
Expected.
So this training itself trains us for this expectation कि मैं काम में इतना डालूंगी तो मुझे रिजल्ट तो मिलना ही चाहिए ना,
Because when Rala?
क्योंकि मैं तो डाला है. लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं है.
That's true. That's true.
So that's where. So I think that is what even Buddha saw in his journey. कि you will eventually. So what his three findings or three noble truths are, one of them is this: कि the suffering will always be there. Like, life is suffering.
That's a very. I mean, we have to interpret in the right way because it, like, some people can just get really sad hearing
About
this.
that.
We have to interpret in the right way. What does he mean by suffering?
Yeah, so like he says that. So one of the noble truths according to Buddha is suffering is like inevitable.
In
So that was one of the reasons why he dedicated his whole, actually not whole life, kind of whole life, but he had taken this thing that this is my primary goal, that I want to find a way out of it. I, I don't want to keep coming back to this earth.
Mm.
I want to get out of this loop.
That's an interesting overlap between Buddhism and Hinduism, where the rebirth
Cycle.
cycles are considered.
Yeah, so that was one of the reasons. So I think, coming back to, like, how can we take this this observation of Buddha, and how can we implement that
Mm.
in our life?
And one another pretty interesting thing that I have been reading recently in Swami Vivekananda's book is that um, he says that life of the middle person, like the majority of us are not sannyasis and yogis and monks. The majority of us are the middle class, right? They are the ones who is a householder, who is having normal responsibilities like all parenting and stuff like that. So what I also want out of whatever we are doing here is, I mean, for these people, because I mean, normal people like us believe that this is something very elusive.
Yes.
You are not there in the mountains. You are not, you're not with a begging bowl.
It's not my job.
But even it's not my job. Or can you even experience it?
Yeah.
Can you even understand what it is about? Is it just for the mullahs and is it just for the priests to be in touch with gods, or can a normal person also feel divinity?
Yes. I think that's what Buddha said. One of the, like, when he used to when he experienced the enlightenment, and then when he decided that he will go ahead and spread his learnings among normal worldly people. That's where he always used to say that everybody has the potential of enlightenment. So it's not reserved for only Brahmins or only for special people. Everybody can experience enlightenment, and everybody can uh, live in complete awareness, like moment to moment awareness. And I think that is like a very big hope that he has given to humanity, that it's not a far-fetched thing. You just have to change the way you look at things, change your lifestyle, change your pursuits, basically the whole perspective, and you might get enlightened while being a corporate employee.
Yeah, so Buddhism says happiness is available to all. Please help yourself.
Yeah. So that's the intention. I think on perspective, what we are trying to do is, we are not experts. We are just trying to uh,
Experiment.
explore and experiment, um, by reading books, by listening to people who have had such experiences in their lives, and by discussing and by experimenting those things, and seeing that what works for us and what does not.
There you.
That's it for our first episode. I hope you liked it. Please let us know your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.